Hello and welcome back to another video. It's been a really long time since I made one of these, coming up on 2 years, which is why I decided, hey, look at me, I've actually got that big old degree now. I think I know what I'm talking about when we do a couple of accents. So we're doing another accent class today. Today we are doing British RP, or received pronunciation, which is one of the more olden sounds when you think about England. It's kind of how the Queen speaks and how people on the older TV channels used to speak. It was very like, that's the way that you should speak and that's the proper thing. So we're going to do a bit of it today and find out how it's kind of been modernised. And I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below if you think that maybe it's different nowadays, or maybe it's even more so, more pronounced than it is. I find England fascinating in how many accents it has, and so hopefully we're going to be delving into some of those in, I don't know, months, weeks, years to come. But anyway, let's get into the British RP accent. So the general accent itself, especially if you're coming from an Australian point of view, which I am, to think about the accent as being really forward in the mouth. Australians tend to kind of leave their voices in the back of their mouth and in their throat, and I know I do that especially. But if you think about everything being brought forward to the front of the mouth, especially in the lips, and bringing everything out like this, and then having quite a lyrical sound, then you're essentially halfway there, and all you've got to do is think about a few sounds that you need to change and you've kind of got the British RP accent done. It's pretty easy. Well, I find it easy. I don't know, let me know if you find it easy. I've learnt in IPA, so the following rules will kind of be based around the sounds and the sound changes there. If you've learnt differently, obviously that is your way of learning and that's all cool, but if you resonate with IPA like I do, then just follow these ones and you should be fine, I think. So taking R's and O sound, so something like path, laugh, blast, hot, god, dog. There's not a huge change here when we're saying these words, we just need to bring them more into the front of the mouth. So from Australian path, laugh, blast, we want to go path, laugh, blast. It's the same as hot, god, dog. Hot, god, dog. Everything is really pronounced. I cannot stress that enough. And it's not so much of a vowel change at all, as everything just being really from here. So just think about most of it coming from here and you're bellissimo. The R sound, as in love, courage, worry, as we say in Australian, is changed to more open and bright, so it's more of a sound, so it's love, courage, worry, cup. The air sound, and I think this is a really important one to remember, and also to just click you into the actual accent itself. So the air, as in pair, fair, parent. Again, it's still strengthened, brought to the front of the mouth, but thinking about the R in that and making it also a second syllable. So thinking about it as pair, fair, parent, Sarah, rather than pair, fair, parent, Sarah, all back in the throat. Bring it out and forward and make that R like quite a distinctive second syllable. Also with the R sound, if you were doing a Queen's English or more of an olden English RP accent, the R is really interesting to think about, because in the older days, when you were saying a word like very, you would tap the R against the back of your teeth and it'd become more like very, almost like vedi, but you're like vedi. Again, that's not used in modern language today, but it's interesting to think about if you do need to do a more affected or an older RP sound. The oo sound, as in tune, ooze, food, soon, it tends to have more of a gliding effect. So an oo or a u sound, so tune, ooze, true, food. Again, that's quite another one of the heavier or more affected accents, finding a happy median in between that Australian kind of tune, ooze, true, food, soon, and tune, ooze, true, food, soon. I will kind of find the way that you need to be in a modern RP accent. The E sounds kind of as the Y at the ends of words, instead of being giddy, nappy, frankly. They're a lot shorter and brighter, so the giddy, nappy, frankly. One of my favourite ones to think about in the British RP is the liquid U, which is an IPA-ish term. Obviously the liquid U is so present in this accent, but again the placement is more forward. Australians tend to have it. Words like allure, suit, lewd and tissue, they're brought more forward, they're more pronounced, so it's allure, suit, lewd, tissue. They're some of my favourite words to say, especially the word tissue. I have no idea why, but it just feels like so proper and so English to say, and it's just like, yeah, slay English tissue. Consonant wise, mostly all you have to think about is again putting the words more forward into the front of your mouth, more so than Australians do. One that I like to think about, especially because Australians and myself have a really bad habit of it, is the dark L, which is more of like swallowing your L's back into your mouth once you say it. On the RP they don't do that at all. So when you're thinking about an L sound, it's clear, it's bright, it's light, it's the words feeling lily silly. And again, that's a really good get-in clause to actually get into the accent in the first place. The syllables are definitely pronounced instead of using a schwa that Australians tend to use, or more of an American sound tends to use. So for words like button and little, that can become button, little. In the Australian, they're always pronounced in the RP. Little sentence that I have got here. You'll see how pronounced everything is if I say this really quickly. I've written a little letter as a gentle reminder in case they've forgotten. Every consonant in there was and if you notice how much movement my mouth had, it's like a workout in itself. I hope I get really defined cheekbones just from talking in an RP accent. If you want to look at a British RP accent in the media, I think it's really good to look at older programs or programs that are simulating old English times. Downtown Abbey is a really good one, looking at newscasts from 20-30 years ago. I think is also really interesting to watch, and like just listening to kind of Queen's English itself can help you really get into that thing without obviously overdoing it and becoming, you know, too much like the Queen. It's finding that happy medium in between, and obviously that's just you playing around. It's just finding yourself a way of getting into the accent that's the most important thing in the first place. So to end, as a nice little comparative note, I'm going to be reading Sonnet 18, which is one of Shakespeare's sonnets, but I'm going to be obviously doing it in the British RP accent, and hopefully you will notice the difference between this voice and my British RP dialect voice. So here we go. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Some time too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often in his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. But thy eternal summer shall not fade, nor lose possession of that fair thou owest, nor shall death brag thou wanderest in his shade, when in eternal lines to time thou growest. So long as men can breathe, or eyes can see, so long lives this, and this gives life to thee. There we are! Hopefully that was informative and good enough for you to do the learning. I certainly did a bit of a learning. I haven't actually touched RP in quite a while now, so it was really good to actually get back into the accent and kind of warm myself up in it and remind myself of all of the things. So let me know, was that useful? Did that help you? I don't know, have you come out of this video originally having a Polish accent and now you've got a perfect British RP accent? You tell me. Hopefully it's been helpful. Thank you so much for watching. As per usual, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and hopefully I'll make another one of these soon. I've got a few more accents that I can hopefully teach, but if you've got any suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comments below as well, because I would appreciate that, because it gives me something to do in my now boring everyday life while I am an unemployed actor. So let me know. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in another video. Goodbye now. Bye.